What really happened to the stars of one of reality TV's most unique families? The Alaskan bush people captured hearts worldwide with their wild lifestyle, but off-camera, their stories took darker, unexpected turns. From heartbreaking deaths to shocking arrests, several cast members have faced devastating circumstances that fans never anticipated. How do survival experts in the wilderness end up battling personal demons and legal battles? And which of the Browns are now behind bars or lost forever? Stay with us as we uncover the hidden truths and reveal the fate of the Alaskan Bush family in 2025. The tragic passing of Billy Brown. Billy Brown was the unmistakable heart and soul of the Alaskan Bush people, a man whose rugged spirit defined the show and inspired many viewers. Billy's life was marked by hardship early on, including the tragic loss of his parents and sister in a plane crash when he was just 16. Seeking escape and a fresh start, he found solace in the Alaskan wilderness, where he built a new life that ultimately became the center of his family's story. For over a decade, Billy led the Brown family through the harsh realities of bush living, always insisting on tough independence and a deep connection with the land. His decision to raise 7 children in such unforgiving conditions captivated audiences, but came with personal costs. In 2019, health issues began to surface, initially thought to be lung-related but eventually diagnosed as a heart condition, a diagnosis that raised serious concerns for those close to him. Despite doctors urging him to move to a lower altitude for his health, Billy remained stubbornly devoted to the mountains and the lifestyle he loved. His family respected his wishes, but lived with the anxiety that his condition could take a toll at any moment. Tragically, on February 7, 2021, Billy suffered a sudden seizure and passed away at the age of 68, leaving a void that deeply affected both his family and the show's legacy. Billy's death was a profound blow, not only for the Browns but for the fans who had grown to admire his strength and resilience over the years. His son Bear posted an emotional tribute on Instagram, highlighting Billy's role as a loving father and a man who lived life on his own terms. The family vowed to honor his memory and carry on his dream, a commitment that weighed heavily on them as they faced an uncertain future without their patriarch. The revelation of Billy's declining health had been quietly shared in previous seasons, but none could have predicted how quickly events would unfold. His refusal to leave the mountains symbolized his fierce independence, but also underscored the risks inherent in the life he chose. For many, Billy's passing marked the end of an era, prompting reflection on the sacrifices necessary to live their unique lifestyle. As the Browns prepared for what was planned as a 13th season of the show, they openly grappled with the loss while attempting to keep the family united. Amy Brown and the siblings, including Rain, Snow, Bear, Matt, Bam Bam, Gabe, and Noah, spoke candidly about their struggles to cope and find strength amid grief. There was a shared understanding that life would never be the same, yet the desire to push forward remained strong. Billy's legacy is a complicated blend of survival, adventure, and the harsh truths of nature's demands. He was both a symbol of rugged determination and a reminder of human vulnerability, caught between the wild and the loyalty of family. His life and death would continue to shape the Brown story, casting a long shadow over their future endeavors. His passing also raised difficult questions about the sustainability of the family's way of life and the realities behind the show's portrayal of bush survival. Billy's health issues served as a stark example of the physical toll this lifestyle can exact, even on its most devoted practitioners. Fans and family alike would be left to wonder what might come next in the wake of such a pivotal loss. The story of Billy Brown is a poignant reminder that behind the bravado and the wild frontier lies the fragile human heart, capable of immense love but also vulnerable to fate's unpredictability. The trials faced by the Browns did not end there. The family also endured heartbreaking personal losses that added to their collective burdens. Amber Branson's struggle and death. Amber Nicole Branson entered the Alaskan Bush people universe, not as a blood relation, but as a member closely connected through family ties and affectionate bonds. Amber was known for her kind nature and calm demeanor, traits that made her beloved among those who knew her. She appeared briefly on the reality show but left a lasting impression through her gentle spirit and the warmth she brought to the family atmosphere. Despite moments of peace, Amber's life was marred by intense personal battles. She struggled with mental health challenges that eventually led her into the grip of substance use, a difficult path she fought hard to overcome. For a time, it seemed she might regain control, but unfortunately, relapse brought new hardships and ultimately tragic consequences. In a devastating incident in Hudson Oaks, Texas, Amber suffered severe burns covering 90% of her body after a fire at her home. According to local reports, Amber was found face down in her yard and told authorities that the injuries were self-inflicted, describing the event as a faith test. This alarming situation brought shockwaves through the family and friends, highlighting the severity of her struggles. Friends and family were left heartbroken as Amber was rushed to a hospital burn center under critical conditions. Doctors considered her injuries non-survivable, leading the family to make the painful decision to take her off life support. Amber passed away on May 1, 2020, after a battle that no loved one could have anticipated. Her death deeply affected the Brown family, particularly Amy Brown, Amber's aunt, who reportedly shared a close bond with her niece. The loss was not only personal but symbolic of the harsh realities faced by those connected to the Browns even beyond the Alaskan wilderness. It was a stark reminder that profound challenges can exist behind even the calmest faces. Amber's narrative illuminated the shadowy corners of mental health and addiction that reality TV-related fame and survival stories usually block. The story of her life and her tragic death depicted how hidden problems could become unmanageable and the importance of support, especially when one is not alone in the family circle. The shock of Amber's death reached out not only to the family but also to the fans, and the discussion of the wellness and the pressures behind the scenes erupted. Simultaneously, the Alaskan bush people showed the strength of the human spirit in the wild. However, Amber's death exposed the weakness that even fame could not protect. In the memory of Amber, her family and friends put forward her kindness and generosity instead of her hardships, and thus, they regarded her as a pure and gentle soul. This calamity marked the dark period of the Brown family's history but also served as a reminder to the world to recognize the suffering that is not expressed publicly. While the Browns were still navigating their life course, Amber's saga had already become a persistent reminder of the possible disintegration of life even at the strongest family ties and in the most unpredictable wilderness. Even as the family mourned, the repercussions of difficult personal choices began to surface in unforeseen ways, particularly in the lives of the younger Browns. Bear Brown's legal troubles. Solomon Isaiah Freedom Brown, better known as Bear Brown, carved out a memorable identity as the wild, fearless third son of Billy and Amy Brown. Bear was the first of the Brown children to be raised fully in Alaska's rugged environment. His love for adventure, hunting skills, and playful eccentricities, like running on all fours and howling, made him a fan favorite and a standout personality on the show. Growing up in the wilderness, Bear learned survival skills from an early age, never attending traditional school but learning through experience, nature, and home education. While his youthful dream of becoming a superhero or movie star seemed far-fetched, Bear's energy and courage drew attention on and off camera. His relationship with Raven Adams, which began in 2018, marked a new chapter in his life, blending romance with his wild spirit. However, Bear's journey took an unexpected turn when legal trouble surfaced. On March 11, 2022, Bear was arrested near his home on charges of fourth-degree assault related to domestic violence. The arrest came as a shock to supporters, considering Bear's public image as a loving father and devoted family man. He was booked into Okanagan County Jail, where he spent a weekend before being released without bond. According to police reports, Bear had no illegal substances or alcohol in his system at the time, and investigators found no evidence that he had strangled or choked Raven. The details suggested a complex situation that didn't align with simple assumptions, bringing nuance to the public's understanding of Bear's character. Following his arrest, Bear entered a plea deal in April 2022, a decision that aimed to resolve the matter quietly and allow him to move forward. Since then, he has reportedly changed, becoming more focused on being a responsible father and maintaining a low profile with his family. The arrest marked a turning point, pushing Bear toward a more introspective phase of his life. Bear's legal troubles contrasted sharply with his earlier years of boundless freedom and wild exploration, highlighting the challenges of balancing personal life under public scrutiny. It also underscored how fame and family struggles often intersect in complicated ways, with consequences that reach beyond the television screen. The incident cast a shadow not only on Bear's reputation but also on the future prospects for the family's public image. It added another layer of complexity to the Browns' ongoing narrative, one of perseverance in the face of repeated adversity. Despite the difficulties, Bear's story remains unfinished, with hopes from some quarters that he will continue to grow and heal in the years ahead. His adventure, both wild and personal, reminds us that even the most fearless can face unexpected battles. As the Browns face legal issues with Bear, other family members wrestled with their own controversies that would continue to strain the family name. Joshua Brown's fraud conviction. Joshua Brown, known as Bam Bam, developed a reputation as the calm, thoughtful second-oldest Brown sibling, often contributing his technical skills to the family's survival efforts on the show. He grew up off the grid in Alaska, adopting the nomadic bush lifestyle alongside his siblings. His nickname, Bam Bam, originated from a childhood habit of running into walls, yet he was always eager to learn, especially about technology and problem-solving. When the Discovery Channel launched Alaskan Bush People in 2014, Joshua took on a role that blended wilderness survival with modern innovation, often helping with construction, electronics, and strategy. Off-camera, however, his life would take a complicated turn due to legal troubles involving the family's financial claims. Records surfaced revealing that from 2011 to 2013, the Brown family falsely claimed residency in Alaska to receive benefits from the Alaska Permanent Fund, a dividend paid to residents based on state oil revenues. This deception led to significant legal consequences starting in 2014, with Billy, Amy, Joshua, and several other family members charged with multiple counts related to fraud and theft. To resolve the matter, the Browns entered a plea deal, though the case cast doubt on the family's narrative of pure wilderness living. Both Joshua and his father pleaded guilty to misdemeanor counts of unsworn falsification, acknowledging they had lied about their state residency to unlawfully obtain benefits. The court sentenced Joshua to 30 days in jail, fined him $2,000, and required repayment of almost $1,200 in dividends. Additionally, he was ordered to complete 40 hours of community service and barred from ever applying for the Alaska dividend again. Despite the severity of the charges, this legal chapter pushed Joshua to maintain a steady focus on rebuilding his personal and professional life. Beyond the spotlight of reality television, Joshua participated in many different activities like photography and fishing. He even shared some of these activities on social media. Furthermore, he is said to be getting more involved in technology and renewable energy projects, which show the commitment to self-improvement is still there. His calm personality and unique talents have made him stand out among the more exaggerated family members in the media. Even though the fraud case was a very bad thing for the family's reputation, Joshua's adaptability and ability to redirect his energy into new projects has given a very optimistic view of the situation. The time he spent away from the show was his opportunity to work on himself and live a, so to speak, unpretentious life out of the limelight. The social media portrays a less visible but hardworking person who is occupied with significant things instead of facing controversies. The fraud case was like a shadow that showed the complexities behind the show's narrative and cracked the Browns' image of genuine bushcraft skills. However, Joshua's ceaseless endeavors indicate that he is trying to be in the future while the past has been left behind with the family ties still intact. It is a fine line between liability and aspiration that characterizes most of his current life journey. While Joshua was busy forging his own road, it was becoming more and more evident that other family members were getting into serious legal messes, thereby highlighting the already tumultuous period for the Browns. Transitions like this, from the quieter rehabilitations to the louder, more immediate conflicts, paint a full picture of the Browns' present struggles. Rain Brown and Josiah Lorton's burglary case. Rain Brown, often the most fashion-forward and youngest of the Brown siblings, has also encountered her share of controversy in recent years. Known for her striking contrast to the rest of the family's rugged image, Rain was born in Hoona, Alaska, and grew up in the wilderness, but developed a lifestyle and personal interests that often diverged from the traditional bush path. Social media has frequently spotlighted her, sometimes controversially, with a focus on her relationships and personal style. Her engagement and subsequent marriage to Josiah Lorton, a head chef she met while working at a restaurant, marked a significant chapter. Their public displays of affection and expressions of love seemed to promise stability and happiness, with Rain often sharing heartfelt tributes to Josiah on her Instagram. Yet, beneath the surface, challenges were brewing that neither seemed fully prepared for. In a twist that shocked fans and family alike, Rain and Josiah were arrested in connection with a significant burglary case involving a family member. According to court documents, they were accused of stealing $75,000 in cash, $85,000 worth of gold, expensive wine and champagne, several pistols, and other personal items from a rental property owned by Josiah's uncle in Washington state. The allegations extended to first-degree burglary and malicious mischief, with Rain also charged with second-degree criminal trespass. The claim was made by Jason Aist, Josiah's uncle, who alleged that Josiah was entrusted with the location of these valuables during a difficult divorce period but ultimately became a suspect when items disappeared. Surveillance footage reportedly captured Josiah and Rain on the property, and officers observed the presence of stolen items in the days following the incident, intensifying the case against them. Despite the seriousness of the accusations, both Rain and Josiah pleaded not guilty when arraigned and were granted release without bail after spending approximately 3 days in the Okanagan County Jail. Their court date remains pending as legal proceedings continue to unfold. Meanwhile, the couple has maintained a public presence, with Rain posting messages that some interpret as cryptic responses to the situation but stopping short of a full public explanation. Her Instagram post quoted a Bible verse about judgment, paired with a heartfelt message addressing accusations and expressing betrayal from someone who had stolen from her, suggesting layers of personal conflict amid the legal battle. She called on her followers to reserve judgment and promised to share her side when the time is right, reflecting both defiance and vulnerability. The burglary case represents a significant stain on the Brown family's reputation at a time when they were already grappling with other scandals and the ongoing absence of their show from public airwaves. The legal entanglement diverted attention from their wilderness venture to questions of trust, loyalty, and family discord. Rain and Josiah's situation remains unresolved, with court dates looming and the public watching closely for any developments. Their story adds a dramatic and painful chapter to the family's ongoing narrative, a sharp contrast to the resilient image cultivated on screen. It underscores that fame and familial ties do not shield individuals from serious turmoil. As the Browns contended with legal battles and loss, their public image continued to fluctuate, shaped by forces both internal and external. While some fought to maintain their dreams, others struggled under the weight of real-life consequences, and the story was far from over. Family dynamics and public controversies. The Brown story is not just one of survival in the Alaskan wilderness, but also a tapestry woven with complex family dynamics and public controversies. After the show went on hiatus, the family struggled to maintain cohesion amid losses and legal troubles. While their close-knit nature was often showcased on screen, real life revealed frequent tensions, disagreements, and the heavy weight of expectations both from within and outside the family. Their trials have underscored how fame can magnify problems that might otherwise remain private. With every setback, from health crises to arrests, the Browns found themselves grappling with public judgment while managing internal grief and conflict. This dual pressure shaped much of the family's more recent narrative, exposing cracks beneath the surface of their united front. Social media became a double-edged sword for the family, providing a platform for connection and self-expression, but also inviting criticism, rumors, and scrutiny. Each member's actions were dissected and discussed, amplifying the stakes of every personal misstep. The public's fascination with the Browns' rugged image often clashed with their human vulnerabilities, making it harder to separate performance from reality. Behind the scenes, relationships shifted as family members took different paths. Some turned inward, focusing on healing and personal growth, while others remained public figures navigating the consequences of their choices. The balance between privacy and transparency became an ongoing challenge as the Browns sought to protect their legacy in a world hungry for drama. Compounding this strain were legal issues that put the family under a cloud of suspicion. Fraud allegations, arrests, and court battles not only disrupted personal lives but also threatened the integrity of the show's reputation. Fans and critics alike questioned how much of their portrayed lifestyle was genuine, raising skepticism about the authenticity of their wilderness survival story. The doubts were supported by claims that at times the events and parts of the story were merely staged or blown out of proportion, giving rise to discussions about the very thin line between reality shows and faked ones. The Browns' move to more exclusive lives was, for some, a confirmation of the family's doubtful true lifestyle and intentions. But the supporters claim that these hardships show the Browns' strength and kindness beyond the cameras. The family's public perception is still a very intricate story, a story of unbreakable love and loyalty, but also one of mistakes and controversies. Their willingness to share their struggles openly is publicized as a sign of their ongoing attempts to establish a new identity free from the sensational news stories. The Browns are on an ongoing journey of redemption, hoping to regain the power to tell their own story. In spite of the turbulence, the Browns show a strong dedication to keep their family tight-knit. They keep on expressing their wish for the show to come back and for them to be able to rebuild trust and stable public presence. This common wish serves as a reminder that even families in strife, in this case, the Browns, are still trying to heal and progress. Their path exemplifies that surviving is more than just mastering the skills needed for wilderness living. It also means to be able to withstand the storm of public opinion and personal hardships, an acid test of character no less demanding than the Alaskan winter. The Browns' controversial public image is also deeply connected to long-standing debates about their lifestyle, revealing a stark contrast between their on-screen persona and off-screen realities. Surviving the wilderness versus modern life, the Brown family's portrayal as rugged wilderness dwellers has long been a source of fascination, but also skepticism. While their lives revolve around the challenges of the Alaskan bush, critics argue that their reliance on modern resources betrays the authenticity of their survival story. This tension between romanticized bush living and practical modernity has sparked debate about what it truly means to live off the grid. The Brown shelter, often depicted as handcrafted and bare bones, was shown in the series as a testament to their grit, yet reports surfaced suggesting they sometimes spent time in more comfortable accommodations. Such revelations hinted that their lifestyle was not as isolated or austere as portrayed, raising questions about the balance between reality and production needs. Their food gathering and hunting practices also drew notice. While the men's trips for fish and game showcased essential survival skills, viewers learned that Amy Brown's twice-monthly grocery runs were a critical part of their sustenance plan. This blend of foraging and periodic supply runs exemplifies the pragmatic approach the family took, straddling bush life while accommodating some conveniences. Critics have pointed out that the show's editing and marketing by the Discovery Channel may have enhanced dramatic effect, crafting stories that lean more toward entertainment than documentary authenticity. Such criticism challenges the narrative that the Browns live entirely apart from modern comforts, instead suggesting a hybrid lifestyle influenced by television demands. Alaskan communities have also voiced skepticism, claiming that the Browns' experience and skills do not fully correspond to traditional bush living knowledge and practices. These assertions contribute to ongoing debates about cultural representation and the ethics of portraying wilderness survival for mass audiences. Questions about the family's residency history further complicate the picture. Official records indicate that the Browns spent significant periods living outside Alaska, contradicting claims of continuous bush residency.